Solving quadratic inequalities. Solving quadratic inequalities. That's your word there. Solving quadratic inequalities. Follows the same process as solving quadratic equations. Qualities. The only difference is how you write your final answer. Okay, so there is a process for this, and if you follow my process, you should be pretty good with how you set up your homework. So your homework is set up pretty much like these notes, so that you should be pretty good to go. All right? So the first thing that you're going to do is factor. So if I have x squared minus 3x minus 18 greater than 0, I'm going to treat this as a normal factoring problem. So how would we factor this? Wow. All right. How would we factor this? Thank you. X factor. So go ahead and x factor this. What two numbers multiply to get negative 18? Okay, and add to get a negative 3. Okay, put that on your paper. And we're just going to keep that greater than 0 there. We're not going to focus on it until the end. Okay, so if I asked you to solve this out, we would set each of these what? Okay, let's do that. Set them each equal to 0. I can get x to be negative 3 and x to be positive 6. So these are my x-intercepts at negative 3, comma 0, and 6, comma 0. These are my x-intercepts. Negative 3, comma 0, 6, comma 0. Okay, so we have a parabola shape down there. Let's go ahead and plot these points. Now, I'm not asking you to make it perfect. So 1, 2, 3, I'm going to make a point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm going to make a point. Does this graph open up or down? Up, because the a value is positive, right? Now, this is where it's different. Is this going to be a solid line or a dotted line? Dotted. A couple of people say dotted. One person says solid. We don't know. Do you remember from Algebra 1, if there is a greater than or less than sign with an equal sign, it is a solid.
And if it doesn't, it's dotted.
Right. If there is no equal sign, it is dotted, because that means we can't include them in our answer. You need to write the solid dotted thing at the top of your paper. If there is no equal sign, it is a dotted line. If there is an equal sign, it's a solid line. So this is going to be a dotted parabola because there's no equal sign in the problem. And what else did you have to do with inequalities? Do you guys remember what else? Not with inequalities, you have to shade. Okay, so now we have to determine, are we going to shade on the inside of the parabola, or are we going to shade all the way around the outside of the parabola? The way you check for shading is to check a point. So we're going to make ourselves a note. We're going to check for shading. What's a point that might be easy to check?
0, 0.
0. Okay, so we're going to check to see if 0 works in my inequality. We're checking this point 0. Where do we plug 0 in at? For x at the top. Okay, so I have 0 squared. I'm looking at the inequality at the top. Then it says minus 3 times 0. minus 18 greater than 0. This is what I'm checking to see if it makes sense. Well, 0 squared is 0, and 3 times 0 is 0. So the only thing left on the left side of the problem is negative 18. Is negative 18 greater than 0? No. So do we want 0 in our answer? No, because it did not work when I plugged it in. So 0 is in the middle, which means I don't want to shade in the middle of my parabola. I want to shade on the outside of my parabola. There is no guessing with this if you plug 0 in. Okay, and your shade doesn't have to be perfect. Like it could be a squiggle like I just did. Okay? All right, so then our final answer is written like this. You have a line down there, that number line. Okay? I'm going to draw it over here on the side so you guys can see what I'm doing. We're going to put 0, 6, negative 3. So we're putting our x-intercepts, negative 3 and 6, on our number line. Now, did we include negative 3 and 6? Were they equal to? Is it equal to? No. So when it is not equal to, we use parentheses. Okay, so we're going to make parentheses around negative 3 and parentheses around 6. And we shaded outside the parabola, right? So that means I'm going to shade this direction. So my number line should match my parabola graph. Do you guys see that? We shaded on the outside of our parabola, so we're going to shade on the outside of our numbers. We are writing this in what is called set notation. I'm sorry, interval notation, not set notation, excuse me. Interval notation. So this is brand new to you. All right? Can someone tell me what number is way out here? What's way this direction? Infinity. So then what's way this direction? Negative infinity. So what this graph is saying is I want everything from negative infinity to negative 3. And I want everything from 6 to infinity. Go ahead and write that down. Okay, we're going to move the 18 over on example 3. Okay, then you x factor like normal. Cynthia, what numbers are you going to choose?
3 and negative 6.
Do 3 and 6 add to get 7? What two numbers multiply to get 18 but add to get 7? 9 and 2. But the 2 needs to be negative. Okay. And you can split the middle on this too. If you're used to splitting the middle, you are welcome to split the middle on this. It's going to give you the same thing. I'm just taking the shortcut. We're going to set them both equal to 0. So we know that our x-intercepts are negative 9, 0, 2, 0. I'm going to graph mine over here. Is this going to be a solid or a dotted line, Tish? Dotted, right? Because there's no equal sign with the inequality. So it's going to be a dotted line. Emily, what's my next step now that I know that it's a dotted line? What do we have to check to see what we can do? Excellent. We're checking for shading. Now, do you have to do 0, do you think?
No.
You could do like 4 out here if you wanted to. But that's just, 0 just makes things easier. Okay, so if we plug a 0 in, I have 0 squared plus 7 times 0 less than 18. Is 0 less than 18? Yes, so I'm going to shade where 0 is. So I'm going to shade in the middle here. I'm going to shade where 0 is. I'm going to shade in the middle. Then we have our number line. No, we plug it into the original problem. And the original problem is positive 18. Good question. Okay, so on your number line, we know we're going to shade in between the two numbers because that's what I did on my parabola. And because if I plugged 0 in, it would be between them two. Now, do I need a parenthesis or do I need a bracket here, Kaylin? Is there an equal sign? No, if there's no equal sign, do we use parenthesis or a bracket? Parentheses. Okay, so now we're going to make our parentheses facing each other because that's the way that I shaded. And then my final answer is -9, 2 with parentheses. Questions about this? Okay, try number 4 on your own. You're going to have to split the middle on number 4. Okay? Take a minute. You can talk with your neighbor if you want to. I want you to work on number 4. Set it equal to 0 first. Keep your x squared positive, so you're going to move the 5x and the 12 over. And then you're going to split the middle. What you have been doing all in factors for this thing. This where you have to split this. We split this. We call that splitting the middle. We call it something different.
For that.
So 2x squared minus 5x minus 12. Why is everyone leaving?
It's 3:06.
Okay, my class is over at 3:35. They have to go to work. That's why they left.
Oh, done.
It's all right.
You got excited for no reason.
I know. Everybody was ready to head out. Psych!
You don't want to choose by 12.
For some reason, I thought you were letting everybody out.
No, I know. You wish. You wish. But no.
That's all we have to do? Do you have to like solve out the problem?
Yes. Keep going. What numbers are we going to choose? -8 and 3?
You were very right. I didn't catch that. So, multiplies -24 adds to -5. What are multiples of 24?
Okay, so we're going to group these together. We're going to divide out by a 2x. gives me x minus 4. What can I pull out of the second group here, Anthony? A 3. Which leaves me with x minus 4. Justin, what's my final step here? Step you like to skip.
Put the outer two together.
Okay, so 2x plus 3. And what?
X minus 4.
Okay.
And then
What do I have to do with each of these things now?
solve for x.
Okay, so go ahead and set these equal to 0. Okay, and you should get numbers. It's okay to have a fraction answer. So this one gave me x is negative 3 over 2, and this one is x equals 4. What is negative 3 over 2 on a number line? 1/2. 1.5. 1 and 1/2, not just 1/2. Okay? So I have 4, negative 3 over 2. Is this going to be a solid or a dotted parabola? Paula? Is there an equal sign in your problem? Is there an equal sign up there? Greater than or equal to? Solid. Do you see, look up at the top where that blue circle is? Do you see that there's an equal sign with the problem? It says greater than or equal to. So when there's an equal sign, when you can see the solid line, we're always going to make it solid. What number is going to be great to test? 0. I'm going to test it up at the top. So if I have 2 times 0 squared, is that greater than or equal to 5 times 0 plus 12? That becomes 0. That's gone. Is 0 greater than or equal to 12? No. So we want to shade on the outside of our parabola. Yes?
If it's greater than, will it always be on the outside?
Yes.
That's what I thought.
Yep.
And the inside
It's always
the
less
than's
than.
always the inside.
Yep.
That's what I thought.
0, 4, negative 3 over 2. Okay, so we're shading the outside. So we're gonna. This part is really important. So we're gonna shade this way. Are we using brackets or parentheses here? Brackets, and we're gonna work them outside. Now, this is what's important. When you write your final answer, we're going from negative infinity to negative 3 over 2. And there's a bracket around negative 3 over 2. Thank you. But you can never close off infinity. Would you guys agree with that? You can't ever make infinity stop. So there's a parenthesis around it because it can never actually equal infinity. So beside infinity will always be a parenthesis. Then we hopped over and we went from 4 to positive infinity. The 4 has a bracket. The infinity has a parenthesis. And what goes in the middle? The U, horseshoe. This will be your final answer. Yes.
For example, you said negative.
What?
That thing you said about the infinity.
Negative infinity to positive infinity. So this needs to be a negative infinity. You didn't write that. No, because it's always parentheses around infinity. Okay, any questions about that?
Nap time.